are live. I never believe if I'm actually live or not. Kinda hard to tell. Adjust my microphone just a smidgen here. So, hi everybody, and welcome back to Untitled Ninja. My name is Triston. I am still sick. Seems like that's kind of been a little bit of a theme going on over here. You'll notice that my office is very dark. It's because my eyes are sensitive, and I am sensitive. And so just kind of relaxing a little bit. I got some music on in the background. We're going to be talking about something really cool today. And just chill. So, if this is your first time here, my name is Triston. I am the owner of Untitled Ninja. I am a digital marketing professional, mostly specialized in YouTube stuff, but I really like NFC, and we're going to be talking about that today too, specifically. So, let me start by telling you guys a story. So, let's go back, actually, pull this thing up because this thing is a good example of what we're talking about here. Switch screens. So this popped up today in my Facebook memories. This is from 10 years ago. I was working as a freelance translator, and at this point I actually already had a couple of years of experience, and I was offered a project where they wanted me to translate 6,600 words, and they're going to pay me $400 for it, and I was super excited about that. Now, just for some context, that works out to about 6 cents per word, and that also works out to about closer to 3 days, maybe 3.5 days worth of work. And I was going to get paid basically $100 a day to sit and translate this document. And at the time, you can tell I was pretty excited about it. But there's a problem. That's 6 cents per word. The average rate for my language pairs, so translating between English and Spanish, is 12 cents per word. I was getting paid half of what I should have been paid, and I didn't think I was good enough to charge that much, right? I didn't think that I was still new to the industry. I was happy being mediocre, and the other problem was that I was kind of a general translator, and so by being just a generalist, then that also meant that I didn't have any particular skills, or I didn't really stand out to anybody as far as my clients, and so I actually didn't get paid as much just because they didn't know who I was or what I could do or anything else, and it was kind of a bad situation. So by the time I actually ended up closing down this business and I stopped translating, I actually stopped translating at the end of 2015, the beginning of 2016. I had learned a lot more about marketing. I learned a lot more about SEO and ads and email marketing specifically. And the topic of today's video actually explains kind of how I got into that. But just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a reference. So a couple years after this, I started charging 12 cents per word. And so this project would have been worth $800. And towards the end of my career, and especially if I were to go back and start doing this again now, I would be charging at least 3 times this much, simply because now I understand what the value is behind the documents. It's not just translating something for the fun of it, but there's a reason for it to be written, there's a reason for it to be translated, and there's a value that's behind that, and my time and my expertise to make sure that that value is being communicated and translated correctly is worth money as well. I would actually charge up to about 18 cents per word now. So this $400 project would have been about $1,200 easily at this point. And like I said, about 3 days worth of work. Turn on some music, just kind of rock out over here while doing my translation stuff. And so the point to this is twofold. One is I want to kind of give you guys an idea of where I was before I got into digital marketing and how NFC actually kind of helped me get out of that, but then also how I was able to use the stuff that I was learning while I was learning NFC, while I was learning Bluetooth beacons, while I was learning websites, while I was learning SEO, while I was learning paid traffic, and all these other things, and how that actually helped me to grow my business, because by the time I actually shut down that agency, I had 650 translators working for me. Translators and editors. We covered 19 different languages. I was translating video games for a living. It was a blast. I absolutely loved it. But at the same time, I got tired of fighting with people over where to place a comma. And anyways, that's beside the point. So, that's a little bit of story part number 1. Now, let me switch up to my big camera real quick. And I'm going to tell you guys the sad story of a young Triston. And I actually had a thing we're going to do here. We're going to switch over to my old-timey camera thing here as I tell you the ancient story of Triston and how he got into Nfc and beacons. So, high quality professional work over here, of course. So, one night I was watching Shark Tank, and my wife goes, "Triston, you're a genius. Why don't you make something that's going to make us rich?" I said, "Okay." And so I was sitting there watching Shark Tank, and as I'm watching Shark Tank, I had an idea. I said, what if we could create some kind of an app that could make it so that way when you go up to a museum or a zoo or whatever, and it's in a different language, then you can like scan something, and then it would display that information in the language that you needed or that you wanted. And this was novel at the time. This was not like something that anybody ever thought of, apparently. And so I was sitting there thinking about it. I go, I bet if I could figure out how to do that, I could become a millionaire. And so I went and told my wife, I said, "Hey, you asked me to come up with something. I think I've got an idea. So I'm going to work on this nonstop for the next 6 months until I completely go insane." And that's exactly what I did. So, step number 1, went to look for somebody who could actually build an app for me. Could not afford it. I was a broke translator. This was like halfway through my translation career, so I was not making a lot of money quite yet. And yeah, so that wasn't an option. So now I was thinking, all right, can't build an app. What if, so I can't hire someone to build an app. What if I go learn how to build apps? So I downloaded all the free software you can imagine to learn how to build apps, and I got nowhere with it. Those did not work at all. That I'm not a programmer or coder or anything like that. Not my gig. So I kept thinking about it, and I kept thinking about it. And then one day I was watching YouTube, and there's a gentleman. His name is Eli, the computer guy, and he was talking about this new tech that was coming out called a Bluetooth beacon. I was like, wow, Bluetooth beacons. That sounds cool. And so he started talking about what these beacons did and how they worked. And basically, they're little Bluetooth beacons, right? They would emit a Bluetooth signal, and nearby mobile devices could pick up that signal, and usually it would display it as like a URL that somebody could click on their phone. So it'd pop up kind of like you got a notification, like you got an email or a text or something, and you click on that, it opens up a website. And I thought, gee, that's really cool. I could do that. And so went through, started messing around with those. I bought a whole bunch of them, and I needed an app to get them to run. And then I learned about like Google Nearby and some other stuff. But while I was going through and I was working on all this stuff, then one of the ideas that I had was to use QR codes. And I said, okay, so we're going to take a QR code and we're going to link it to a website. So then you walk up, you scan the QR code. It's going to take you to a website. It's going to ask you what language you want. You're going to select the language you want from the drop down, and then you are going to get whatever information, whatever text you wanted from the website that's going to tell you what you're looking at. So like if you, like I said, you go to a zoo in Argentina and you see the little mapaches and you're like, oh, that's so cute, what's a mapache? It kind of looks like a raccoon. It's a raccoon. Mapache is Spanish for raccoon. Or whatever. You scan the thing and it's going to pull up the information. That's kind of how you go. And I thought this was a brilliant idea. And so we went out, we found like these really cool custom QR code generators, and we started to build websites. That's what got me into Weebly, is because I needed a website that was going to be fast, easy to use, and was going to look good on mobile. And that I can then easily connect to the QR codes and everything else. And so that's what got me into Weebly. That's what got me into building websites, and then eventually it turned into SEO and all the other crap. So I had this really cool idea. I had a working prototype. We had like video showing how everything works, and I got an invitation to do a presentation for this new technology for the St. Louis Art Museum. They were looking for some upgrades. They wanted to make things more accessible for people who spoke different languages, or maybe people who had vision problems, who couldn't like read the fine text on all the little boards or anything, or maybe a whole bunch of different use cases. It's like, this is perfect. I'm perfect. I can do this. I'm going to go and I'm going to make a crap ton of money, and I'm going to take this project and it's actually going to turn into something really cool. So I walked in there. My wife and I had all this, like our presentation planned out, Shark Tank style. We were so excited. And so we go through, we do our little presentation, and like we show the tech actually working, and we show how everything was kind of fitting together. And they go, this is really cool, but we hate QR codes. Those things are so ugly. And this is an art museum. We're not going to be putting these butt ugly QR codes next to fine art. Dang it. And it actually didn't move forward after that. And so kind of went back to the drawing board. It's like, okay, we need to find something else that we can do instead of QR codes. Like, we had custom QR codes. We had some really cool designs and everything, but we needed something else because this client wasn't going to want to use QR codes. And so that's what kind of pushed us towards beacons, and then eventually it pushed us towards NFC, which is the topic of our video today, which I've already been talking for like, how long? 18 minutes, and we're just now talking about NFC. So, what on earth is an NFC? Why do we care? How is this helpful? And what's going on here? So let's switch back to my normal camera real quick. Actually, let's turn off the filter real quick too, because it's fun, but it's not helpful. Okay, so what is an NFC tag? An NFC tag is one of these. Now, you can't actually see the tag because the tag is inside the plastic, but this is a little PVC card, right? So like a credit card, debit card, ID cards, anything like that. And inside of this, and like I said, you guys can't see it. If we do this, let's try this real quick. Does this work? No, that does not work. Oh, I can see it, but you guys can't. Yeah, it's not going to work. So anyways, inside of this thing is a little teeny tiny, super thin computer chip. And this computer chip, what it can do is it is powered by your phone's own scanning stuff, right? And so it can talk to your phone. You guys may recall going way, way back to like these old Samsung commercials where you could transfer pictures between phones just by like tapping them together. So that was NFC, near field communication. And basically it is a super secure way of transferring data from these chips to a mobile device or to some sort of other electronic device. They are used quite frequently and quite often. It is an offshoot of RFID, so things like, you know, when you go and buy like something from a store, like, you know, a new Xbox controller from Walmart, and they had to run it over the that little like magnet thing right in the checkout thing. What that's doing is it's actually deactivating the chip, because otherwise when you walk through the doors and they've got the little pillars there over there, what those are doing is they're actually detecting the chip. They're looking for that signal. And so that's how you can tell if they're stealing, if you're stealing something, is because they're going to look for that chip, they're going to look for that signal, and if they detect the signal, they go off. So this is actually a subset of that. It's the same idea, it's the same concept, except that this doesn't use any like extra electricity. They're a lot smaller. They're very, very inexpensive, but their range is a lot shorter. But they can carry a lot more information. Another really interesting use case for these things are the Nintendo Amiibos. So do I have... I painted mine. I'm still in the process of finishing it. So little Amiibo guys, right? So the idea is that you take this thing and you tap it onto your Nintendo Switch or your Wii or whatever, and it will pull up the character in the video game, and you can use it to do that kind of stuff. This thing has an NFC tag there inside of it. In fact, I'm not just going to tell you there's an NFC tag inside of it. We are going to look at it. So I use an app. I have to turn down my light just a little bit here. There we go. So I use an app called Nfc Tag Pro, and the Pro version only costs $3. I highly recommend it. It's pretty darn cool. So you take your phone and you take your NFC tag, and it can read it. And so I can now see this thing has 540 bytes worth of information on it. I can see that it is a, well, you guys can't really see it and I can't stream it from my phone, but it's got all the information about the little Amiibo on here. And what's actually really cool about this is I can then take all this information and I can copy it and I can put it onto something else, and I can basically make as many versions of this little Incineroar or Pokemon as I want. I'll turn my lights back up just a smidgen so people can actually see me. So they're all over the place. You use them for all kinds of interesting things, and they're really cool. Now the other interesting thing about these things is that they're actually very, very, very inexpensive. So like you can get these guys right here. I think I spent like 50 cents a piece on these. Of course you can get them printed. You can get all kinds of cool designs on them. Let's see if I still have... got some printed ones somewhere. I just want to see if I have them on me. I don't think I do. But you can get them printed. They look pretty cool. And there's some different ways to do that. But very inexpensive, and they have a lot of really cool uses. And that's really what I think we're wanting to talk about here today. So, let me double check my notes. So, what is NFC? It's Near Field Communications, a small chip. It is built into every single Android device going back like 15 years. And of course, iPhones are always a little slow. They are built into iPhones going back to the iPhone 7, and then up to the XR or the X. Then you need an app in order to open it, or at least you used to. I'm not sure if they finally decided to remove that. But then after the X, then it's built in. So all you have to do, you take your little, fix my hair, take your little chips, boom, and it opens it up, and it can read it. So as far as the stuff we can actually put on these things, like what can they actually do? So probably the easiest and simplest use case is just going to be a URL, right? So some sort of a link, some sort of a domain that you can send people to. So for example, you guys might like this. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, right? So I made a tag for my wife, and this actually went into her Valentine's Day card. Let me switch this thing over. So, and again, you guys can't see it, but it's a cute little video. If I turn on the brightness on my phone. Yeah, so it's just a cute little video. And I actually made this a while ago, but I like sending it back to her every so often, just so she could remember that I'm cool. But the link to this video, so let's actually close this again. We'll kind of walk you guys through the process so you can actually see it now that I figured out how to turn on the brightness on my phone. Just go, boop. Oops, where is it? There it is. And then you just pick which app you want to open up the thing, and it takes you straight to the video, which is kind of cool. So that's one example. You can use this for things like, one of the most common examples you can see is for like in a restaurant, right? So you can put the entire digital menu on a little NFC tag, and all you got to do is leave that tag like on the table, right? Just tape it to the table or whatever. Place your phone on top of it, and then it will pull up your entire menu, right? Just because a lot of folks are wanting to move to like QR code menus, and people don't seem to like QR codes very much. This is an alternative. And again, super cheap. You just go beep, and then it'll pull up. The actual tag reader location is different on all phones. This is a Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, and mine's right here. My last photo is up over here. So kind of what you'll want to do is you just want to take the card. You're just going to go like this, whoop, and then the phone will vibrate, and that will tell you what that is going through. So menus. In fact, that's actually what. Come on, there we go. What these are. Oh, come on, lighting. Can't really see it. It's a little restaurant thing for. Well, okay. So this is our coupon sign up, and so basically the idea behind this is that, all right, this is for a restaurant nearby. It's called Los Primos. You guys may recall a few years back, I was very, very passionate about some burritos in a local burrito company. Still am, still really good. And so we actually went and we built this system out for them. And so the idea is that you scan this card, and this will give you access to the online order system. And if you sign up for your email, or you put in your email and the other stuff, you actually get a coupon on your purchase. And so we can use this as a way to collect, to build an email list. And then that way, whenever there's any kind of a special offer, whenever there's any kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Special event, if they just have a slow day, they need to bring some extra people in, say, hey, 2-for-1 burritos, which is one of the things that they're doing at the time. And send out an email, bring in a couple hundred people, sell a crap ton of burritos, and you're good to go. And then, of course, you can also use this, say, hey, if you want to order a burrito online and just come and pick it up, just tap your phone on here, and then you can order online, or place your order, and then you just come and you pick it up. And then what's cool about this is then you can give this to your buddy and say, hey, if your buddy wants to order a burrito, take this, give it out to him, and you can kind of start building a reward system based on it. There's all kinds of cool things you can do with it. Whoops. And so I have a few of these that we made for them, and they're all right here. Actually, another interesting use case is What are all these extra cards? Proximity Marketing Ninjas. Can get my lighting. There you go. That's my business card. And so the business card, actually I'm not even sure if the link is still good. Let's find out. And then we'll open it up in Opera. Oh, the link's dead. Yeah, so it was leading people to a little landing page built by Moo, but Moo disabled it, so I'm gonna have to go make myself a new one, which isn't exactly hard. Like, that's really easy. Link tree or something like that. Same idea. So you can use them as business cards. You can use them as digital menus. You can use them as Amiibos if you want, if you're playing video games. Like, there's all kinds of really interesting stuff that you can do with it. And now that we're moving into a lot more of this kind of like a Web 3.0 and like all this other metaverse type stuff, I think these are going to become even more relevant, because now we're going to start talking about, how can we connect physical things with digital things, right? How can we make it so that way this physical card can then turn into a digital good? How can this card turn into into like a coupon? How can we turn this card into a menu or something else? And I really think that NFC is going to be one of the easiest ways to do that, just because the systems are already all over the place, right? Like, the vast majority of cell phones already have this included. And the technology already exists. It's existed for a long time. It's super easy to use. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. And like, I think that this is probably going to be the best way of kind of implementing some of those things moving forward. So just one thing I wanted to throw out there. Now, as far as how these things actually work, and like how you program and how you do all the other stuff, could it be easier? So again, I use an app called Nfc Tools Pro. The Nfc Tools is the free version, and again, very good. And I'm sorry you can't really see this very well. I think I have a tutorial somewhere on my channel. I'll see if I can find that, and I'll make it not unlisted so you guys can actually see it. And it kind of goes through. I got some cool screen recording and everything. But basically what you do is you got the app, and then you want to go over to where it says write, right there. Add a record, and you got a whole list of different kinds of things that the tags can actually do. I wonder if it'd help if I turn this off. This is going to be a great viewing experience. Yeah, something like that. So you can do locations, you can do addresses, you can do proximity searching, street views, emergency contact information, Bitcoin address, Bluetooth connections, Wi-Fi networks, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then that's the bottom half. Top half, you have texts, URLs, search, social media stuff, videos, files, applications, emails, add contacts, dial phone numbers in the text, and so on. So let's say that we want to create one that's going to open up a URL, right? Did I lose it? Audible. What did this one do? Oh, was this my genius idea? It was. Okay. So, an Audible link. Okay. So let me explain this real quick. This is just one of my little dummy test cards. So what we did with this is I am an Amazon affiliate, right? So you see all those YouTube videos where like, this video is sponsored by Audible. And then you get like a special link, and then you take the link and you go and you sign up. And then when you sign up, then the person who, promoted it, right, they get not a kickback. It's they get an affiliate commission. I think it's like $5 for Audible. So we have a client who owns a whole bunch of laundromats here in our town. And so we thought, all right, we have people who are going to be bored just sitting there on their phones waiting for their laundry to be done. So what if we were to give them a free audiobook when they sign up, which is like the offer that you get, right? You sign up, you get a free audiobook. And the way that we do that is we're going to create these little table tents, right? We're going to create these little NFC tags. Say, hey, if you want to get a free audiobook to listen to while you're waiting for your laundry, all you have to do is scan this little code and go and create your account, and then we'll give you a free audiobook. I forgot that we did that. We actually still need to go and install those things. We don't know where the client went. He bought an RV and kind of just disappeared. So good for him. He's having fun. He's enjoying life. But it was kind of weird. But yeah, you can see like that's the little audio our Audible sign up page right there, and so that's our affiliate link. And so I think he was making, I think his net per laundry thing, right, was like $3 or $4, and this would have given him an extra $5 per person that came in. So we're basically doubling his income just by adding in these little affiliate links using the NFC tags. So that was cool. But that's not what we were wanting to do today. That's, whoops, that wasn't the purpose of our pulling up that tag. It's just a fun story. So back to Nfc Tools Pro. We're going to go to Rights. I don't know who's calling me. We're going to click the select URL, and then we're going to type in, so we're going to ask you to enter a URL, right? Very, very simple interface. Like, it's not difficult. We're going to type in paypal.me/Triston with an O, S-E-O. Okay. We're going to click OK, like that. And it's going to take us to this page, and it's going to ask us if we want to add any other records to it, or if we want to edit any of the records. Records are basically just like the little files. And we're going to say no. And so we're going to click right there where it says, everything below this line, these are all the records that are actually going to be installed on the phone or in the tag. And so we're not going to be installing anything else. We're just going to install the one. So we're going to tap where it says right. It's going to say approach the NFC tag. And so we're just going to go like that. And now it's done. I'm going to click OK. We're going to close out of the app just so we can start from scratch. Let's actually close all the other apps so I have no other apps open. Take our same tag that we just programmed a second ago. And it's going to ask us to pick an app to open it. And that is my PayPal donation thing. So if you guys want to send me money, that's all you got to do, right? And so again, this is a really cool thing, because now if you need to accept a payment, for example, say you're doing like a yard sale or some sort of businessy thing where you're out and you're offering a service and selling something at like a fair or something, and people want to be able to pay you using like a credit card or a debit card or whatever, and you don't actually have that hardware to do it, you can use something like this. Say, hey, if you're ready to make your payment, all you need to do is tap your phone on this little thing. It's going to pull up my PayPal account, and then you can send the payment straight through there. You get a notification on your phone almost instantly, and everything just goes through. And they can actually use their debit cards or their credit cards to to process all this, or their PayPal account if they already have one, or the PayPal account if it's already attached to a credit card, debit card, bank account, or whatever. So that's really cool. The other thing you can do with this, which I've been playing with and I haven't gotten it to work quite 100% yet, but you can also attach this to your Bitcoin wallets. See if mine decides to work. Nah, because my Bitcoin wallet doesn't actually set up. But you can do it. I just need to figure out how to do it. So, but NFTs. And you can tell it to just always open up the app from like one specific thing, or open up the links from one specific thing. I just have like 5 different browsers on my phone for testing purposes. And of course now it's going to take forever to open up. But this is actually linked to an NFT that I have available for sale, right? I believe this is my Pokemon one. Why is this taking so long to load up? This is a problem with my phone. Not a problem with the tag. Come on, stupid thing. There's my phone's connection. Come on, we're doing a live stream in front of 0 people. This isn't a great time to crash on me. Alright, we'll reset. This is the one, right? Boop. Tell it to open with Opera. And it still doesn't want to load. Okay, so we'll try something else. Let's try Chrome. Basically what I'm doing here, stupid thing's not working now, is you can get the link to your, I'll move this stuff around real quick. It's about time we had a change of scene anyways. So you can put a link straight to a specific NFT, right? So this is the NFT that I own. You can grab this button and copy that link, And then you can also do some other stuff with this as well, where then you're able to show, how much the thing costs, have the ability to purchase the thing, all just using that same link. And so you can actually take this and you can use this as a way to buy or to sell this specific NFT, assuming that there are multiple copies of it and that kind of stuff. Now, I haven't found a way to actually save the NFT or any of the data behind this, like any proof of ownership, but I'm not as involved in the space as I need to be, and so I don't actually know how to do that. But I'd assume that it wouldn't be difficult to take that information and then to save it as either a text file or something else in the system that would just show that that you would own the thing. Now, the only downside of this is that, typically speaking, the NFT is it won't automatically update, or excuse me, not the NFT, the NFC tag won't automatically update, and so it would only be able to show as of the the time it was written. So I think it's actually probably going to be a better thing to have something like this, where you can either connect your wallet code or ID or whatever that thing's called, and then have that be an easy way for somebody to then transfer the NFT to your wallet. So that's a simple way of doing it, and that's just a question of grabbing the wallet code thing. Why is this always running so slow? I am a professional with fast internet. Grab your wallet IDs, right, and then you can just add that as a text file to your to your NFC tag, and then you can take that around with you. And then again, if somebody wants to sell you an NFT at like some sort of an event or transfer the NFT to you, then you can just have them go, okay, here's the code, beep, and then it copies and transfers straight over. So something like that would be very, very efficient. And then also, if you wanted to sell an NFT, then you can send that link straight to something like this, where you have like OpenSea, where then you can see how many there are and everything else, and you can open up the app, you can open up in mobile browser, anything like that. So it's not technically putting the NFT onto the NFC tag, which I still think would be really cool, but what it does do is it kind of facilitates that connection back and forth. Now, as far as NFTs on NFCs, that's actually where these little Amiibo guys come back in. So the Amiibo has is like you write and rewrite to that code constantly, okay? And so let's actually switch to a different NFT, just because that flashing is going to drive everybody insane. I'll just take us back to the homepage. So this is write and rewritable, right? And so when you first open up the NFT or the NFC, and when you first start writing to it, the first thing that it's going to do is it's going to assign ownership of this tag to a specific account, right? And then after that, what's kind of interesting is that these little guys are actually like semi-sentient, at least in the game. So you can take this character and you put it into the game, and it goes out and it does stuff. And as it does stuff, it actually gets smarter, becomes more efficient and better at doing that stuff. And so like the character grows, like it levels up and that kind of stuff. And so that actually makes this little specific tag unique, right? It has an extra value attached to it, because now it's not just a blank character. Now it's a trained character. Now it's a higher level character or whatever. And so it essentially becomes an NFT. And what's interesting about it is that this is actually a physical representation of a digital asset. So, kind of the idea behind NFTs in general, at least in my opinion, this is something that's now unique. It's something that has value, and is actually a digital asset that is represented by a physical thing. So you're kind of connecting your metaverse stuff, your Web 3.0 stuff, and then also including the NFT and the NFCs and all the other KFCs or whatever. So I think that's a really interesting way of using these things. And like I said, these NFC tags, they're super cheap. They're super easy to use, and hopefully I've demonstrated that. And there's a lot of different ways that you can use them. And so what I'm kind of hoping to do with this video, like the whole goal of this video is just to kind of explain what they are, how they work, what you can do in order to get them. As far as pricing, let's open up Amazon real quick. And let's pull up NFC tags. And you can get them in stickers, you can get them in tags, like there's all kinds of different things. So 50 tags, the NTAG 215s are really good. 504 bytes of memory, that's plenty for $15. 300 for 12, 30 for 12, 20 for 12, 10 for 9. It's like, these things are really inexpensive. And so these ones are like little discs, so you can use them kind of like stickers, just kind of put them wherever you need or want them to go. Again, if you were to do something like we were talking about with the laundromat, then you can just have like a little piece of paper and then like glue this thing to it. So like that's an option. The other option would be to look at a sticker like this. And it's the exact same thing we've been talking about. They're little stickers, there's a little code inside of it, or excuse me, the little chip. And then you can take this, you can program it using your cell phones, and then place them wherever it is you want them to go. And these ones even say specifically they are compatible with the Amiibos. And so if you ever wanted to hack these little dudes, then you can do that as well. But it's really, really, really cool stuff. And like I said, there's so many interesting ways that you can use it. You can use it as a payment processing thing. You can use it for translated material or for multilingual content. You can use it for video games, right? You can use it for your Bitcoin stuff. You can use it for restaurants. You can use it for lead gen. You can use it for affiliates. Like anywhere where it would make sense or where you would want it to be easy for somebody to access a website, right? Like this is what you're looking for. Or even something as simple as like, if you've got a food truck, right? Imagine these guys were a food truck, right? So we had two different options we can do here. We can either send somebody to a website and then show where that food truck is going to be during the day, or we can actually program in the address for where the food truck is and have that, be the thing. Or like, so what you want to do with that is you probably actually want to set up a URL and then redirect that to wherever the vehicle is going to be. But like if you have if you have like an office building, it's a little hard to find. So you can use this and it's going to show you exactly how to get there and give them a map. You can attach it to videos. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with it. And even they got some interesting stuff over here. You can use it for access control. You can actually do that. Payment processing, book borrowing, signing in and signing out of stuff. So your Wi-Fi's, your Bluetooth networks. One of the things that I'm actually working on right now, and I'm still playing with the apps in order to get it to work correctly. But I want it so that way when I go into my car, then I attach my phone to my little phone stand, and I have another app in here called Nfc Tasks. And what that'll do is I can actually program in a list of tasks that I want my phone to process or to complete once it's been triggered by the NFC tag. And so then I want it to automatically connect to my phone's radio or my car's radio, and then to turn on my Spotify thing, right? And so the idea is I hop in my car, go boop, and then it does all that for me automatically just because it's there. It's so cool. There's so many cool things you guys can do with this. And I really just want to get you guys hyped over it. I want you guys to get excited over it. I think of some of the cool things that you guys can do with these things. There's so many applications. There's so many easy ways of doing this. Like I said, the tech is so cheap. And the app that you need in order to do it, to actually go and read and write and program these things, it's $3, right? And it's so easy to use. And I've actually spoken to the programmer a few times, and he's a really cool dude. And you don't even need to use the pro version of the app. You can use the free version of the app. It works just as fine or just as well. And it's so easy, guys. It's so cool. And I'm sure you guys have come up with a couple of ideas while we've been sitting here talking about this. I'm sure you have some ideas as far as things that you can do with these things. So buy a couple. I'll leave an affiliate link for you guys in the comments of this video. Just try it, right? Try it and then see what you guys can do with it. I want to send these things out for all of my clients. I want to do all kinds of cool things with these. I've been sick and I haven't been able to really get as much work done as I'm normally used to or as much as I want to. And so I've fallen behind with a lot of my projects, but this is one of the big things, like I said, especially with the Web 3.0 stuff that we've been talking about, especially with all these other things that are coming up. These things are going to become even more valuable and even more beneficial and have even more use cases than we're looking at right now. So, but yeah, so these are NFCs. Like I said, these are one of the things that got me into proximity marketing. Well, okay, so it was the Bluetooth beacons and then into the NFC. And this is what got me out of my translation agency. This is what got me into all the stuff I'm doing now. And I think they're so cool. So hopefully you guys think they're pretty cool too. But that'll do it for this live stream. I've been sitting here ranting about these things for 50 minutes now, and I got some stuff I want to play with. So